Hello, everyone. This is Pioneer Productions, and I would like to talk about the issue of gun control, a very important and high profile debate that has been going on for some time now, particularly in the United States, which has seen a string of brutal mass shootings, and in other countries such as New Zealand, which have been the subject of the fairly recent Christchurch shooting. Now, to properly understand the gun control debate, we need to analyze both sides of this argument, the anti gun control side and the pro gun control side. So let's try and analyze the anti gun control side first. Now, the main arguments that come from this particular side of the argument is that giving guns to civilians allows them to defend themselves, and that taking those guns away from them is an unnecessary extension of government power. Now, think about this for a second. Countries such as Venezuela, for example, which is currently ruled by a socialist dictatorship, has very strict gun control laws. And now I'm not saying that all countries that have strict gun control laws are automatically dictatorships. That's ridiculous. But it is no coincidence that a few years before the dictatorial regime began taking shape, Venezuela enacted very strict gun control laws. And what can be taken from this is that the Venezuelan government was trying to disarm its citizens because it knew that if it messed up, the civilian population would arm themselves and turn against them. And a disarmed populace is not a good resistance force. You disarm the population, it's much easier to control them. In a country like the United States, however, you have things like the Second Amendment, which guarantee that civilians have the right to own firearms, whether it be pistols, rifles, shotguns, you name it. And what this does is it arms the civilian population so no government can ever try and amass too much power, because they know that once you give the regular population such power, they will use it against you if you try and mess with them. And this is what scares many governments, or at least those governments that truly fear the people. If you arm a population, they will fight. You piss them off, they will kill you. And now, let's move on to the pro-gun control side. Now, the main argument for this side, or at least one of the main arguments, is that by enacting gun control, it reduces the risk of mass shootings because then there is a lesser chance of some crazed maniac getting their hands on a gun and shooting up a school or something like that. Now, you could say that this argument is valid because, if you disarm people, that means they're not going to attack you, right? Well, there are a few considerations to take into account. On the one hand, those people will still find other ways to kill others. They can use knives or whatever. But on the other hand, you also need to analyze the very core of the problem. Why do these people go on mass shootings? What drives them to commit such atrocities? The answer boils down to a little something called mental illness. Now, many of these people, many of these mass shooters, tended to come from broken households or bad neighborhoods. Now, this environment obviously influenced their thinking to the point where they decided to take out their anger and pain on others, in this case by inflicting death and destruction. Now, a good combatant to this issue, to the issue of mental illness, would be to try and help these people to try and understand their situation, try and get them out of these bad environments so they don't turn out, how should I put this, absolutely freaking crazy. Now, you can do this in various ways. You can send them to rehabilitation, you could send them to social services, you can send them to simple communities, a place where they can vent their frustrations, let their emotions out, just share what they're thinking with people who they can actually talk to. If you do that, these people will, feel better. They'll feel less isolated. They'll feel more like they're part of a community. And when you do that, mental illness gradually begins to decrease because people feel less isolated and therefore less likely to lash out when things start getting worse. Now, if you do that, gun control practically becomes irrelevant to the situation. You take out the core of the problem disappears. And generally speaking, I don't consider myself exactly pro-gun control, and I can't really help but somewhat sympathize with the anti-gun control side. Now, I don't think that we should have American-style free gun control laws. Sorry, I mean just, well, liberal gun laws. That would be absolutely insane. I do think that there should be some sort of limit, or at least to what guns you can buy and how you can get them. But it is evident that if you truly want to stop things such as mass shootings, it is possible, just by a smidge, that maybe the problem does actually lie deeper than simply guns. Thank you for enjoying this video. Thank you for watching it. Please give this video a like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel for more videos every week. This is Pioneer Productions. Over and out.